And you grew up around the Jacksons, right? I mean, you do look a lot like Michael Jackson. I'm sure you get this all the time.
And I know someone else who's very influential to you is Michael Jackson, and you're friends with Michael, right?
Yeah, we're family. You know, they're raised by the family. Joseph was my mom's first, manager.
From the moonwalk to mirrored vocals, B. Howard's life always echoed the shadow of Michael Jackson, an uncanny resemblance that fueled decades of rumors. But beneath the glitz, a quiet storm brewed, one rooted in secrets, deception, and a legacy built on illusion. When a long-awaited DNA test finally surfaced, it didn't just confirm suspicions, it detonated them.
And it says 99.9% DNA match that B. Howard is Michael Jackson's son.
In a single moment, the man who thought he knew his place in the world realized he'd been living someone else's truth. And that betrayal, it changed everything. B. Howard, the mystery, surrounding the King of Pop's alleged son. The mystery didn't begin in headlines or courtrooms. It began in quiet corners of the music industry, whispered behind closed doors and passed between insiders who insisted they knew something the world didn't. Brandon B. Howard wasn't just another talented performer with an impressive pedigree. He was rumored to be the secret child of the King of Pop himself, Michael Jackson.
I plan on celebrating by doing something he would want me to do and continue putting out something special and doing my music and, living life.
It was a claim that lingered for years, never fully confirmed yet, never quite fading, thanks in large part to the woman at the center of the speculation, Miki Howard. Miki was no stranger to fame. A successful R&B singer in the 1980s, she was known for her powerful voice and emotional ballads, but behind the music lay a personal life closely tied to the Jackson family. In the early 80s, just as her career began to blossom, Miki came under the management of Joe Jackson, Michael's father.
And I know someone else who's very influential to you is Michael Jackson, and you're friends with Michael, right?
Yeah, we're family. They're raised by the family. Joseph was my mom's first, manager and whatnot, but...
While she openly acknowledged her professional ties to Joe, she remained vague about the nature of their relationship. That silence only fueled suspicion, especially among fans who noticed the timeline. B. Howard was born in April 1981, right around the time Miki and Joe were working together most closely. As B. Howard grew older and started making waves in the music scene himself, fans couldn't help but draw comparisons. The resemblance was undeniable to some. The way he moved, the way he spoke, even the way he sang. His falsetto mirrored Michael's iconic vocal style. His rhythm and tone felt deeply familiar, and his stage presence carried an eerie echo of the late pop icon.
The thing that struck me is that no matter what, he has the spirit of Michael Jackson. I mean, he sounds like him, he talks like him, he moves like him, and he has all of God's given talent like him. And that is the astounding part.
These similarities led many to believe this wasn't a case of imitation. It was something far deeper, perhaps even genetic. Still, it wasn't just fans who were talking. The theory started gaining serious attention when Greek businessman Alki David stepped into the spotlight. Known for his brash style and headline-grabbing antics, David publicly announced he had evidence linking B. Howard to Michael Jackson. Running a now-defunct streaming platform called Film On, David promised he'd uncovered DNA proof that would forever change what the world believed about Michael's private life. Whether he ever truly had that proof or not, his involvement shoved the rumor into the mainstream.
They arrived last night. They've been tested in two separate labs, one in Ireland and one in Utah. And we acquired DNA from two of the remaining of the last living four Jacksons.
Suddenly, tabloids like TMZ, Media Takeout, and Radar Online jumped in, dissecting B. Howard's background, his family history, and even his facial features. Old photos of a young Michael were placed side by side with B. Howard, circulated endlessly across fan pages and social media. The comparisons only intensified, with many pointing to the uncanny similarities in their jawlines, eyes, and noses, features that seemed untouched by surgery, offering what some called natural evidence. Then there was the matter of the nickname. Some claimed Mickey Howard was once known as Billy in Jackson family circles. This added a wild twist to the speculation that she might have inspired Michael's 1982 hit, Billie Jean, the haunting anthem about a woman insisting her son was fathered by the singer. No one confirmed this connection, but the idea alone ignited imaginations. Was the song a cryptic confession hidden in plain sight? However, not everyone was convinced. Many pointed to Augie Johnson, a respected musician and vocalist with the group Side Effect, as the true father. Augie had raised B. Howard as his own and was present at his birth. Before his passing in 2014, he firmly denied any Jackson involvement, stating clearly, "I know I'm his father." To him, there was no mystery, just tabloid noise. The Jackson family themselves remained silent through it all. Not a word from Michael's siblings, not a hint from Janet, Tito, or Jermaine. For some, that silence hinted at deeper truths. For others, it was simple avoidance, refusing to dignify a baseless rumor. And then came the suggestion that perhaps it wasn't Michael at all, but Joe Jackson who might be B. Howard's father. The theory twisted again, fueled by comparisons that linked B more closely to the Jackson patriarch than the pop star's son. By the time mainstream media took hold of the story, it had evolved into something bigger than one man's identity. It became a piece of the larger Michael Jackson puzzle, a legend riddled with brilliance, secrecy, and the kind of speculation only the most enigmatic figures attract. But what hidden truths about? Brandon Howard's past kept fans guessing for years. Stay glued to your screen to find out. The mystery of Brandon Howard, a life caught in the echo of a legend. And while speculation had already taken root in fan circles, Brandon Howard's background only added more depth and questions to the growing fascination. Born Brandon Alexander Howard in April 1981. He wasn't just a talented musician with striking looks. He was the son of Mickey Howard, a chart-topping R&B singer whose career soared in the 1980s. Her sultry hits like Love Under New Management and Ain't Nobody Like You cemented her as a respected figure in the music world, and her ties to the Jackson family, especially to its patriarch, Joe Jackson, formed the foundation of a rumor that refused to fade. At one point, Joe Jackson managed Mickey Howard's career, a connection that sparked more than just business talk. It was the early 80s, an era of glitz, whispers, and tightly guarded family images. Some reports claim that Mickey was known in Jackson family circles as Billy, and that she might have been the inspiration behind Michael Jackson's 1982 hit Billie Jean, a song built around a woman who insists the singer is the father of her child. Though there's never been official confirmation of this, the rumor fits too neatly for some to dismiss, especially given the song's haunting theme and timing. Brandon Howard, or B, as he became known professionally, was raised amid this haze of speculation and celebrity proximity. He grew up around music, mentored by industry giants and surrounded by sounds that mirrored the genius of the very man he was rumored to descend from. From early on, his artistry bloomed, influenced by pop, funk, and R&B, genres that had defined Michael Jackson's own path. Brandon's natural flair was undeniable. His voice, with its gentle tone and falsetto runs, his fluid dance moves, and even the way he structured songs, all seemed to echo Michael's signature style. For some, the similarities were too much to be chalked up to coincidence. His music career flourished quietly but steadily, as he worked with big names like Nayo, Akon, and Chris Brown. Despite his accomplishments, public attention often drifted away from his work and toward the unanswered question of his heritage. The comparison became unavoidable. Fans pointed to photos of young Michael Jackson and B. Howard side by side, noting their similar jawlines, deep-set eyes, and soft-spoken presence. The resemblance, they argued, went far beyond superficial mimicry. Adding to the mystery was Brandon's relationship with members of the Jackson family. While there was no official word from siblings like Janet or Jermaine Jackson, reports suggested he had spent time with various Jacksons, and had even been acknowledged privately by some. Perhaps the most provocative claim came from those who insisted that Joe Jackson had once referred to Brandon as his grandson. Joe, never a stranger to bold and controversial remarks, didn't confirm this publicly, but the suggestion alone stirred up another wave of intrigue. Through it all, Brandon maintained a poised, measured response. He neither confirmed nor strongly denied the claims, choosing instead to steer attention back to his music whenever pressed about the rumors. In interviews, he often spoke of his respect for Michael Jackson as an influence, but carefully avoided framing himself as a son seeking recognition. His choice to remain non-committal only fanned the flames, leaving a vacuum that fans and gossip outlets eagerly filled with their own theories. While many speculated that he was simply a devoted fan turned artist, others believed there was more to the story, something hidden just beneath the surface. His artistic path, his family ties, and his uncanny similarities to the King of Pop continued to paint an ambiguous picture. And as Brandon Howard's star rose in the music industry, the question lingered, unresolved and irresistible. Was he truly just a gifted artist inspired by Michael Jackson? Or something far more personal? Keep watching to uncover. The test that shook the Jackson legacy. Just when Brandon Howard's resemblance to Michael Jackson had begun stirring quiet conversations, a bombshell dropped in March 2014 that threatened to blow the speculation wide open. A claim surfaced online stating that a DNA test had been performed comparing Brandon's genetic makeup to that of the late King of Pop. Even more shocking, reports suggested the test showed a 99.9% match, allegedly confirming Brandon as Michael Jackson's biological son. It was the kind of headline that tabloids dream of, and within hours, the story spread like wildfire across social media, news outlets, and fan forums. For many, it appeared to be the long-awaited truth behind years of whispers. The claim originated from a video released by controversial entrepreneur Alki David, owner of the gossip website filmon.com. In the video, David held up what he said was official documentation, claiming to prove the DNA connection beyond doubt. With theatrical flair, he declared the results authentic, insisting the world deserved the truth. But as quickly as the excitement exploded, cracks in the story began to show. No one could say who had authorized the test, where the DNA had been obtained, or how the entire process had remained under wraps until this dramatic reveal. Questions mounted rapidly. Investigative journalists wasted no time digging into the claims. Within days, the so-called DNA laboratory, the DNA Diagnostic Center, flatly denied ever conducting such a test or being involved with Jackson's DNA in any way.
The laboratory results were fake. They had no names associated to it. The lab results had been tested and it had come out negative, that the child, the DNA did not match.
This single revelation unraveled the legitimacy of the entire event. As more details emerged, it became clear that the media stunt was orchestrated by Alki David himself, a man already known for exploiting controversy to promote his digital platforms. He had even teased the announcement in the days leading up to it, stoking anticipation like a reality TV finale. Caught in the storm was Brandon, who immediately distanced himself from the drama. In a calm statement, he explained he had never released, authorized, or even requested the test and urged the public to avoid jumping to conclusions. His refusal to confirm or deny a biological link to Michael Jackson only added to the mystery, leaving a vacuum that speculation eagerly filled. Meanwhile, the Jackson family, typically tight-lipped on such matters, began responding. Taj Jackson, Michael's nephew, slammed the DNA test as a scam, calling out the media for amplifying falsehoods. Jermaine Jackson, Michael's brother, labeled the claim an outright fraud meant to exploit their family's legacy. Still, the Jackson estate chose not to pursue legal action against either Brandon or Filmon.com, fueling more theories. Was it because they didn't consider the claim credible, or was there something to hide? Whispers swirled about internal disputes, legacy control, and the potential financial implications if a new heir emerged. Some fans clung to the idea that the test had been sabotaged or suppressed, insisting that Brandon's resemblance to Michael wasn't coincidental. What started as a supposed answer to a family mystery soon revealed a far messier picture, one tangled in legacy, power, and the lengths some would go to protect both. Haunted by greatness, the shadow behind the spotlight. The deeper story of Brandon Howard's life has little to do with surface-level rumors and far more to do with the weight of an extraordinary legacy, one that both inspired and isolated him. Michael Jackson wasn't just a musical icon, he was a force that redefined entertainment, artistry, and celebrity itself. His reign, beginning with the explosive success of the Jackson 5 and skyrocketing through the historic triumph of Thriller in 1982, set standards the industry is still chasing. But this brilliance came wrapped in a storm of chaos that never quite cleared. While millions idolized him, behind the curtains, Michael's world was a battleground of lawsuits, secrets, and a fractured family struggling beneath the weight of his fame. His legendary moonwalk, first performed in 1983 on the Motown 25 special, stunned audiences and stamped him into cultural immortality. Yet even as the world danced to his beats, tabloids obsessed over his skin tone, surgeries, and reclusive lifestyle. Diagnosed with vitiligo, Michael shared his truth in a 1993 interview with Oprah, but sensational stories often drowned it out. His sprawling Neverland Ranch, with its zoo and private amusement park nestled in Santa Barbara County, became both sanctuary and spectacle, feeding into public curiosity and deepening the perception of a man retreating from reality. Then came the legal troubles. First, in 1993, he was accused of misconduct, a case settled for a staggering $23 million, with Michael insisting on his innocence. The damage, however, was done. A second, more brutal wave hit in 2005, triggered by a controversial documentary. Facing 14 charges, Michael endured a trial that stretched from February to June. Though he was acquitted, the court of public opinion delivered no such mercy. His record sales dipped. His carefully crafted image was tainted, and the industry, once enthralled, grew wary. When Michael died in 2009, reportedly $500 million in debt, his estate fell into the hands of lawyers John Branca and John McClain, whose tight control over his finances and music rights created new fault lines. By 2016, they had turned things around, selling his stake in the Sony ATV catalog, including rights to most Beatles songs, for $750 million. This financial rebound did little to heal the growing rift between the estate and the Jackson family. The will, dated July 2002, shocked many, excluding most of his siblings, while dividing the estate among his mother, children, and charity. In 2012, 5 of his siblings, Janet, Jermaine, Randy, Rebby, and Tito, accused the will of being a forgery, though legal efforts to contest it failed. That same year, a strange episode unfolded. Katherine Jackson, Michael's mother, vanished from public view, prompting an emergency custody hearing for his children. She was later found with relatives in Arizona, and Tito's son, TJ, was named co-guardian. The family's internal wars spilled into public view, damaging their credibility and derailing any united effort to protect Michael's artistic legacy. And so, stepping into this world, if Brandon truly belonged to it, meant entering a maze of betrayal, control, and suspicion. The woman behind the silence. But to fully grasp the weight Brandon carried, we must first look at the woman who raised him, Miki Howard. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Miki carved out a name for herself in the world of R&B, with hits like Love Under New Management and Ain't Nobody Like You. Her soulful voice and captivating presence put her in the same league as legendary vocalists of her time. But as her fame grew, so did whispers of a deeper connection to the Jackson family. Whispers that wouldn't quiet down. At the center of this speculation was Joe Jackson, Michael's father, and a figure both feared and respected in the industry. He once managed Miki's career, a professional tie that quickly ignited rumors. With Joe's history of blurring the lines between business and personal life, many questioned whether there was more between Miki and the Jacksons than met the eye. Some insiders have hinted at a private closeness between Miki and Michael in the early 80s, the same period Brandon was born, 1981. Though no public confirmation ever came, the overlap in timelines and social circles kept the speculation alive. Certain Jackson family members reportedly acknowledged the bond off the record, but no one ever stepped forward to settle the matter outright. Miki herself has remained noticeably quiet. She hasn't denied it, but she hasn't confirmed it either. Her refusal to play into the media's curiosity led many to believe she was shielding her son from the storm that follows any Jackson-related controversy. Rather than speak on his behalf, Miki allowed Brandon the freedom to shape his own truth. And as he stepped into that spotlight, the world waited to see what he would reveal and what he would reject. But what if the truth? Brandon uncovered hurt more than decades of family secrets. Stay glued to your screen. The truth that broke everything. And just as Brandon began piecing together the silence that had surrounded his life for decades, he decided to seek the kind of truth that couldn't be brushed off with vague answers or deflected by old stories. Though a DNA test had already been done years earlier, he chose to go further, this time quietly and with intention. He reached out to someone who had been close to Michael Jackson, not a publicist or a lawyer, but one of Michael's longtime personal doctors. There was no press, no fanfare, only a man desperate to confirm what he had always feared. The doctor agreed, but what began as a simple test became a conversation Brandon wasn't ready for. According to a source familiar with the meeting, the doctor appeared uneasy as he revealed that Michael had anticipated this moment years ago. He'd spoken privately about Brandon, acknowledging that staying distant had been a painful decision he believed was necessary. But it wasn't just Michael who knew. The doctor claimed that Joe Jackson, Michael's father, had also been aware all along, and had made sure this secret stayed hidden. Even more devastating, Brandon's own mother had allegedly signed a confidentiality agreement before he was even born, sacrificing truth in exchange for career protection. Brandon had grown up believing no one knew who his father was, yet behind closed doors, everyone had known, and no one had told him. The weight of the lie crushed him, and then the final blow came. From his desk, the doctor pulled out a credit card and a note, given to him by Michael just months before his death. "If he ever comes to you," the note read, "give him this. I'm sorry, but it's better if no one ever finds out." That card wasn't a gift. It was a bribe to bury the truth forever. Brandon felt sick. The betrayal was complete. In a moment of clarity and pain, he told a close friend, "He's my father, but I want nothing to do with him, my mother, or anyone who kept this from me." And with that, he cut all ties, for good. But what do you think really pushed Brandon to walk away from everyone who once defined his world? Could it be the haunting note from Michael himself? We'd like to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.